Suppose you're standing at the base of a mountain, and you have to decide whether or not to climb it. Climbing the mountain represents the change we are considering. On top of the mountain is a pot of gold. This represents our assumption about the pros or future upside of making a change.
So what are the cons, or future downside?
Climbing up the mountain takes a lot of effort and can be quite risky. You may fall down and break your legs, or even your neck. The effort or cost of making the change and the risk of failing is represented by two crutches.
What represents our assumptions about the pros and cons of not changing?
An alligator swimming towards us at the base of the mountain represents the current downside of not changing. If we don't run up the mountain, we'll be eaten. And the longer we wait, the bigger the risk. The positive of the status quo is represented by a mermaid. She represents what we're afraid to lose if we change, because we can't take her with us up the mountain.
When I was a new driver, I was traveling along a long road. I had been looking for a speed limit sign for some time, and I didn't want to drive too fast or go too slow. But to my surprise, I couldn't find a speed limit sign anywhere. As I drove, I just kept thinking, I'll go 45 miles per hour. That's what I think would be an appropriate speed.
If we want our students to ever be able to recall information in the future, this information must be stored in long-term memory, which is the third stage of memory. Long-term memory preserves learning in such a way that it can be located, identified, and retrieved accurately in the future. Extensive research on retention, or long-term memory, indicates that 70 to 90% of new learning is forgotten within 18 to 24 hours after a lesson. If learning survives this time period intact, it is likely it will be placed in long-term memory. If teachers want to test whether information taught has been transferred to long-term memory storage, it needs to be tested no sooner than 24 hours after the learning has taken place.
A significant topic of your study will be related to the major contributions of theorists who were foundational to education and how their findings have impacted the instructional process. In just the last 100 years, we have accumulated theories of learning that sometimes radically differ from one another. As you study these theories, whether behaviorism, cognitivism, or constructivism, it will be helpful if you relate the theorist's work to educational contexts.
Probably the best example was my recommendation for everyone to stop multitasking. I'll explain. Multitasking has been a serious problem that was hurting our productivity and causing many projects to be late and over budget. However, despite showing my coworkers all the research of how multitasking negatively impacts their productivity and quality of work, many still continue multitasking. I don't get it.